Okay, so guys, today's, if I have to give it the message, a title, it will be, you've given your heart, now what? Okay, so we've got to that point. We know now who's worthy of our hearts. We've given our hearts to God, and now we sit. So think about that for a while. Okay, I want to all ask you, I'm sure you've all been in love, right? What are the symptoms of being in love? What are the symptoms? Let's talk about this.
Butterflies in the stomach.
Butterflies in the stomach. My one friend should talk about a washing machine. You know? Okay? What are the symptoms of being in love? Daydreaming, yes. Almost causing an accident sometimes on the road. Right, what else? That awkward moment when you take the red light. Okay, what else? What are the symptoms of being in love?
You have this weird smile on your face the whole time that
Yeah.
you can't get off.
Yeah. Okay. What else? Can't remember. Sisman.
8 years ago.
Okay. Oh, you can't remember what you do. Okay. Anything else?
Can't stop thinking about that.
Can't stop thinking about the person. Okay, if you're still in school, maybe a younger person, in all your essays which you give to your English teacher, all the eyes have a little heart around it. And the English teacher is thinking, my goodness, where did you get time to do that? No wonder you didn't finish your exam, because you're doing little hearts and stuff like that, okay? What else? Come on. Symptoms. What do you do? How do you behave? How do you talk? How do you dress? What do you do? Come on.
Dress to please them, act like an idiot in front
Yes,
of them.
act like an idiot, make yourself a complete moron. You dress to please them. You can buy a perfume they think they would like. Isn't it? Hey? You put on your best, even if you just went to the mall, which before you go barefoot in anyway. And now you got your best shoes and your best clothes to go to the mall to pick and pay or something.
You try to be perfect.
You try to be perfect. Yes, you try to give, don't you? You're walking around and you see little, oh, it's the first flower of spring, and you pick it and you give it to that person. That's for you, the first flower of spring. Or a photo. Okay, a photo of the first flower, you see that. What else? How about those phone calls, eh? They never end.
Yeah, midnight phone calls.
Yeah. I miss you. I miss you more. How much? Hannah, no, you hang on. I'm tired. I don't want to talk more. And it goes on, before you know it's one, oh, I must go to work tomorrow. But I miss you so much. And then it goes, and your voice goes up and down, even I miss you so much. And then it goes like that, right? What else? So even our conversations. We go to the bathroom, and on the bathroom we send you a quick message. Because we can't wait up for the next time. We just get out for a coffee break. Hello. How are you? Yeah, I'm on tea. I miss you. Am I right? Yes. That's how it goes. So everything about us changes. There's something more to it. We want to spend a longer time talking to the person. We spend a longer time thinking about the person. We sometimes dress to suit the person. Our language and our speech changes with certain words, okay? So
Facebook statement.
the Facebook statement, so-and-so is in a relationship, and their friends like it, and they like it, and they like it. So people see something, isn't it? They see that you're happier. They see that you're smiling a bit more. You've got a glow in your eyes, yes.
You listen to love songs.
Oh, and you listen to love songs. Your music, all of a sudden you go to Musica and you buy 100 greatest love songs of all time, and then you listen to that all day and all night. Am I right? Okay, your little hearts that you write, little love letters. Sometimes you write a love letter and you don't even give it to them. That's the coolest part. You put it in a safe place. You make cards. You sit on your computer. I can go on with the list, right? But the bottom line is you show symptoms of it. Okay, there's an outward and an inward change or an expression of this relationship, right? What about when you're sick? What are the symptoms of being sick? Okay, let me give you an example. Who likes being sick, by the way? No, it's horrible.
Specifiek om opgepikt te worden. Sorry.
Disgusting. Right. So you're sick, you go to the doctor. How's those waiting rooms at the doctor's? Zally, they're morbid, eh? And you get there and like the walls are always like a weird color. Like an off-white or like a weird blue or something, I don't know. So you get in there and you sit now and you're waiting. And then all of a sudden the guy over there starts coughing. and you kind of look, and you kind of shift, and then the little kid over there, there's stuff coming out of her nose, and then you're like, oh my word, we wish you brought your sanitizing spray, and then eventually they call your name. And sometimes they call your name before they call the guy who's there longer, then he gives you a weird look, and then it's more awkward. But anyway, you go into the doctor's office and you say, good morning, Mr. Berger. How are you? How are you? Oh, whatever. So, what do you have? What are your symptoms? So the doctor will ask you, what are your symptoms? And then if you sit there and you say, I don't have any symptoms, then it gets awkward. Why are you there? You said you had something. You said you had a sickness, but you don't show any symptoms of it. You say you're in love, but you're carrying out with the most miserable person in the world. So people will start thinking you're lying, isn't it? You're supposed to be sick, you don't have any symptoms. You're supposed to be in love, you don't have any symptoms. You're supposed to be, I don't know, super whatever, and you don't show any symptoms of that. So the bottom line is here, guys, we have to display symptoms of something if we say we have something. I can't say I have a car and then nobody sees it. That's a bit weird. And then I still walk everywhere and get all hot and sweaty and stuff. If you have a car, show you have a car. Drive around, use it. People must see you putting petrol in. People must see you washing the car. If you have a phone, use the phone. Or else it'll look like you're lying. Or look like there's something a bit off. So as a Christian, guys, we need to show symptoms of our relationship with Jesus. We need to show symptoms of the love that we experience from Jesus. We need to show symptoms of being in love with Jesus. And that is the most important thing. We need to show symptoms of being in love. We need to show symptoms of the love. And we need to show symptoms of the relationship. Or else it looks like we lie. Or else why did we go to the doctor's office and we don't have anything? Why do we say we love and we don't have any of the hundreds of symptoms that we spoke about? Right, so now we know, we've given our hearts. We've said, yes, Lord, there you go. It's about me and it's about you. So we've given our hearts first, but out of the giving of the heart should flow the symptoms. Like when you ask somebody, will you be my girlfriend or will you be my boyfriend? Out of that comes symptoms. As Liesl said last week, there has to be a reaction. Something has to happen. The minute you give your heart, or the minute you state that you are in a relationship with God. Okay? We cannot just have the symptoms without giving our hearts as well. So you see it goes both ways. So we give our hearts and we have symptoms. And we have symptoms, but we also have to give our hearts. What happens sometimes if we just try to make symptoms without giving our hearts? Without fully saying, Jesus, you're mine, I'm yours. What happens with those symptoms? Because now we're trying to make like we're in love, and yet we're not really in love. Because now it just gets awkward. Okay? Now we start making cards, and we start doing all the perfume, and we start talking late nights on the phone, but there's nobody on the other end. That's a bit different now. And now you're buying the love songs, and then you're not singing it to anybody. So sometimes we can have the symptoms without having given the heart. And sometimes we can give the heart and we don't have the symptoms. And the points where we try to get the symptoms going without having given the heart, that becomes works. And we've seen this a lot of times, guys. We've seen it when people try really hard. They put all their energy into being a Christian without Christ. They do stuff. They run themselves into the ground. They get themselves tired. They're doing. They're giving, but nothing else is happening. Nothing is coming from it. How can you proclaim to serve a king and to be doing things for the king when you're not part of the kingdom? How can we try and do all these things and make people happy? And sometimes we stand and say, I'm giving my money to the poor. This tithe must be for that. Oh, what kingdom are you from? We need to know where this goes. So the giving of the heart is the first step. But from it should flow symptoms of this relationship. Right. Randy Alcorn, he's a Christian writer. Randy Alcorn says, we love because he first loved us, right? And then he goes on to say, we give because he first gave us. So do you see the two go together? You can't have the Jesus and not the love. You can't do the giving without accepting that he gave. And like we've said many times, guys, John 3 verse 16. Did you guys see the Valentine thing I posted the other day?
Yeah.
The word Valentine runs right down the middle of John 3 verse 16. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Now, did you see that? John 3 verse 16, right down the middle. V-A-L and so on and so on. Because that's what love is. And we said we can break it down into words. God loved, so he gave. We love, so we give. We don't just do and we don't just give because we want to have the symptoms of being in love. There has to be the love first, or else it just works. Or else it's just awkward. Or like I said at the beginning, you're sitting in the doctor's office and you're lying. You're sitting in the doctor's office and the doctor's thinking, why are you here wasting my time? Please leave. There are really sick people outside. The heart comes first, then the symptoms. The giving of the heart, then the symptoms. The loving, the relationship, then the symptoms. So you might say to me, okay, Rashford, what are you talking about? If you really have no symptoms, and all of this feels like hard works, then we need to examine if Jesus really has your heart. And it's as simple as that. If this Christian business is really tiring, and it's exhausting, or it's boring, or it's an effort, then we need to examine, go back to the first week's slide. Who has your heart? Remember we said when you're looking for a life partner, or when you're looking for something to put your energy into, that thing should be number 2. You already have your number 1. But what happens? It sometimes slips to the back of our mind. And initially we're on fire for Jesus, yes, 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 yes. And your smoke is coming out of the shoes when you're dancing in church and you're kicking up a dust storm. And then 4 weeks later, it's a bit different. And then 6 weeks later, it's a bit different. And then 8 weeks later, we don't see you. And we don't see you again, you know, that kind of thing. So the question is, where is your heart? Who really has your heart? If this Christian business is tiring, if it's exhausting. And it shouldn't be. Why? Because on the cross, what did Jesus say? It is finished. So now what do? We chill. We chill in God's arms. We rest in His arms. Come to me, all who are weary, all who are tired, and I will give you rest. So it means if you've come to Jesus, if you've given Him the heart, your heart, then you should be in a state of rest. Not a state of trying to accumulate works and a state of trying to make your own symptoms, because that gets tiring. Because then you're running around the building. There's no rest point there. There's no little nice water stop and you get a little piece of banana and a chocolate in this race. Then the race becomes hard. But this race with Jesus shouldn't be like that. Number 1, because He's right with us. He doesn't say, right guys, comrades, marathon, go. He's with you. And this is the coolest comrades ever, because you don't have a time limit. You don't have to speed. You don't have to go ahead at crazy rates. God meets you where you are. And He works with you from that point. He's like, right, come now. Let's do this. Let's walk this race. And it's so cool because even when you walk in, there's a rest stop there, and you get a little snack and a little drink, and then you carry on, but He's with you all the way. So the question I'm asking you is, if you've given your heart, if you claim to be in a relationship with Him, and you're tired, or there are no real symptoms, now what? Now we need to start re-examining if God really has our heart, or if we've bumped into the back of the line. First He was first, and now He's second, because now we're focusing on whatever. And then now He's third because, oh, that business deal came along, and so there. And oh, now He's fourth because now I'm studying and I've got the business deal and that. And then He becomes fifth because, do you see what happens? And Jesus is standing there with your heart in His hand saying, but, I and now he's at the back of the line. And that's when this Christian business becomes hard. That's when it becomes an effort. That's when you're consciously aware of yourself. That's when you consciously think, oh, do I have to go to church? Shoot, man. Oh, is it Wednesday? Oh, names of God. Oh, no. Oh, is it Tuesday? New members orientation. Oh, no, can't I make an excuse? Oh, I wonder what. Oh. Do you all know what I'm talking about? Your relationship with God, in having given Him your heart, should show symptoms of you being in love. You cannot wait to get to tea time to call Him. You cannot wait to get home so you can have your 5-hour discussion on the phone. Why are we so excited and interested and willing to give somebody else all that attention? Phone calls and writing letters and listening to music when we can't do that for the Creator of the universe. Why is it so easy to have a 5-hour conversation with somebody we've met once? And Jesus is supposed to have our hearts. And we speak to Him for 2 minutes a day, if even. Why does it become tiring? What are the symptoms that we should start showing when we are walking and talking and living with Jesus? Right. Are we still together? Do you not like what I'm saying? Because it's getting a bit awkward in here. Right. Alternatively, like I said, you've given your hearts, but there's no relationship. Okay, I'm married, fine. But I display no signs of being married. Carry on like I did 10 years ago. Wow. Where are the symptoms of the relationship? You say, I'm in a long-term relationship, or I'm with so-and-so, I'm with so-and-so. But you don't display it. You don't display symptoms of that relationship, and the same thing happens with God. And what is Jesus' purpose in all of this? Jesus said, right, you have my heart. Let's do this relationship. Let's do this Christian business. And let's do this love thing together. We looked last week, and what does that basically tell us? That Jesus channels love to its true direction. Love shouldn't be an effort, especially not love with Him. Because what does He do? He streamlines love. And Jesus streamlines love into 2 things. Do you know that? 2 things. And sometimes we make this Christian business really, really hard, especially when we're talking about love. So we're in the relationship, we're there, we want to have the symptoms. What does it mean to love Jesus? What does it mean to love God? And Jesus has simplified it into 2 things. Can anyone guess what those are?
Love God, and then love God.
Simple. Thank you, teacher. As simple as that. Jesus has streamlined love for us, guys. He simplified it to 2 points. Love God and love your neighbor. And everything else that we do should flow to that. Right, I want you guys to turn with me to Galatians, please. Galatians 5. Galatians 5:22. Okay, so now we've got past the point. We're in the relationship. We claim to have given our hearts to Jesus. What are the symptoms that we should start displaying? Let's see if we have these. Galatians 5. Galatians not once?
Galatians.
There you go. That's one. Alright. Galatians 5:22. Galatians 5:22. Okay, Galatians 5:22. Now you say to me, Rosh, what are the symptoms? I'm in love with Jesus. I'm there. I'm having this relationship. But what are the symptoms that I should be showing? We know if you have the flu, sore throat, headache, runny nose, you're fevery, you're shivery. Those are symptoms. So what are the symptoms of having Jesus in your life? Okay. Who'd like to read for us? 5:22. Galatians 5:22. Okay.
But the fruit of the Spirit, of the Holy Spirit, is the work which is present. This is amplified. I don't know if I should read the brackets.
Skip the brackets.
Right?
Skip the brackets.
Okay. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness.
Okay, thank you. Anybody in Afrikaans? Ingrid?
Maar die vrug van die Gees is liefde, blydskap, vrede, lankmoedigheid, vriendelikheid, goedheid, getrouheid, Zachtmoedigheid, zelfbeheersing.
Right. Anyone else? Another version?
No, it's the same.
Okay, so it's about the same thing. Right, so we've got Jesus. We know when Jesus comes into our life, the peace of Him comes, which is so cool. Because we